This is a 9-pack of acacia wood indoor-outdoor decking. It's a snap-together flooring product that basically you can put down yourself. The acacia wood is supposed to be very resistant to moisture, and so supposedly this will work well outside. So it comes with these little bands holding it together, so you're going to need a sharp thing to get those apart. So each of these tiles has a plastic underlayment that holds it up and allows drainage to happen underneath it, and it has snapped together on the sides here, so you know this side and that side will snap into these two here. So I was sent this pack to review for free. If you wanted to purchase it, it'd cost you about $36. That's $4 per square foot. So this is a 9 square foot pack. I'm planning on making kind of an outdoor mat for my front door. Not sure if I want a 3x3 or a 2x4, so I'm going to make a 2x3 to begin with and see where I want to add on to from there. Alright, so this is the first tile where I've had to hook it to 2 different pieces at the same time. So it needs to go under that guy and over this guy, which I'm assuming I can make happen by lifting that a little bit and then sliding it in place. So that seemed to work pretty well. So that was pretty easy. So when I was laying this first one out, I put the extra plastic pieces there because I wanted them kind of against that wall there. And I put the other side over here. When I put this corner in, rotated it 90 degrees, and so I don't have the plastic here, but I do have it out the other side. So you can rotate them 90 degrees, and that may or may not be a good thing. I don't think it really matters too much because the pattern of the wood is going to be about the same. But this gives me an opportunity to see how easy it is to disassemble. I tried disassembling it a little bit, and I actually ripped off this little bit of plastic there. So I think I'm going to stop with that, and I'll just snap off the pieces I don't want to use. It's, you know, holding together just fine. So getting it apart without breaking it might be an issue, but putting it together is not an issue. So I think a 3x2 is just about perfect mat size. I'm considering doing a 3x3 to use them all up because, I mean, otherwise you have, you know, a third of your items here you're not really using. So my other option is a 4x2 with one left over. I think this is time to get the wife out for her aesthetical judgment. Alright, the wife has spoken. The 4x2 configuration is what we're going with. I'll have one spare in case something happens to one of them, I guess. Now, I have a little bit of plastic edging on this side I need to get rid of. There's also plastic edging along the back, but I don't think I'm going to get rid of that. Mostly because it would be a lot more effort, but also because it kind of holds it away from that wall there just a little bit and gives that gap, and I think that's perfectly fine. So I'm going to get a pair of side nippers and a pair of pliers and see how easy it is to break off that little section. Given that I accidentally snapped a few pieces trying to take a few things apart, it might be easy. We'll see. Given that I only have 8 of these guys, I was able to pick the whole thing up and flip it over. If you're doing a large section, you won't necessarily be able to do that. So I have a couple of tools I'm going to try to remove this stuff with. There wasn't any instructions about the best way to do it, so first I'm just going to try kind of bending and snapping with just a pair of pliers here, because that's kind of what happened with, I tried to take two of these apart and it seemed to kind of rip it off. So I'm going to just kind of twist like that, and that seemed to snap it off there. So if I grab this plastic piece here and just kind of twist with the pliers, I can go section by section, and for the most part it looks like I'm able to rip it off semi-cleanly. I don't think it's really like designed to be super easily ripped off, but that I think is the weakest point, and it looks like I'm mostly able to, just with a pair of pliers, kind of yank on it and twist it, and it separates at this kind of, not exactly a seam, but you know, it separates here, and the rest of the black plastic support structure does not get injured much by this action. So it's not easy in that it doesn't just pull right off, but it's certainly doable, at least from the bottom, to pop a end off here once you're done setting it up. I pulled an edge off of there and an edge off of here. If I'd lined them up right, both edges would have been on the same side, but basically I had to pull 2 linear feet of edging off, and I'm glad I'm not pulling the 4 linear feet over there. Didn't take too much time, but you know, you had to snap at each little joint basically. So after having pulled all these plastic bits off the edges, it becomes clear that they've painted the top of the plastic a brown color to kind of meld in with the wooden stuff, so that you can't really see black plastic poking through the wood underneath it. So this is what it looks like on the back. I'd say half the thickness of these tiles are the plastic support structure underneath. It looks like they're glued into holes, like there's 2 holes in each of these pieces of wood, and something sticks out of the tile and they've glued them down to the tiles there. So probably some type of, I don't know, urethane or epoxy or something, probably pretty tough. Alright, so I think that looks a lot better than the concrete. There's certainly the ability here to kind of knock off some things from your shoe before going inside the house. It's not a full like mat, but it definitely is a little better than just the straight concrete. As a cost per square foot basis goes, it's a little high, but it's a DIY thing that you can do yourself, so the only cost is for materials, not your own labor. It looks pretty nice, and if this Acacia wood holds up to moisture and weather as well as it's supposed to, it should continue looking nice for quite a while. Alright, so my front door is on the north side of my house. I get a lot of rain, a decent amount of shade. I'm hopeful that this guy's going to hold up better than a lot of doormats I've had. Price-wise, $36. It's not unreasonable to pay for kind of, you know, the wooden mat type setup here.